What's poppin', guys? It has been a long time since I said that, but before y'all start cutting to me, let me explain. So, quick update. Life has been picking up more responsibilities than expected. Ministry has picked up. Work 9 to 5 has picked up. Obviously, I'm a wife, so definitely gotta, hold that down. Family, things of that nature. The day-to-day life basically kind of increased within this last year and a half since I have not been recording. So I just had to kind of focus on what was important, at the time, and making sure everything is handled so I can get back, myself and my husband can get back into the flow of recording. As you know, I have 2 other channels in the mix with Kai and Nick, and also mixed reactions that I do with my husband. So again, his job has increased drastically. So therefore, it's like our recording times kind of like clash, because when I'm available, he's not. When he's available, I'm not. So, that's basically what's been going on. I see it in the comments as well, like, what happened to this channel? Like on all 3 channels. And it's like, we're still here. We're just trying to figure out a great balance for the both of us so that we can get back into, recording on a consistent basis. So originally I was going to start recording maybe mid to late March, but I felt that God put something on my heart that was very important and very urgent. And from the looks of the title, for those that are familiar with biblical scripture, y'all already know where this is going. For those that aren't familiar with biblical scriptures, you can check out the story of the Saul and David experience, as I call it, from 1 Samuel. I think it starts maybe at chapter 9, and it goes all the way up to chapter 31. But before I go any further, make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Go check out some of the older videos that I did if you guys have not already checked it out. If this is your first time on this channel, visiting, make yourself at home. And if you like what you see, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, do all that. So maybe it was like 3 weeks ago that myself and my husband went to Ohio on a business trip for his job. We were there for maybe like a week, and he was gone for the majority of, like, just say the day, doing work stuff. And I was left at the hotel. I was able to pray, read, catch up on some work, and get some rest. I prayed a lot, and it was a thing in particular that I was praying for the most, for maybe the last 3 to 4 weeks, I would say, that just did not sit well with me. And I was sharing with God and praying that having to serve alongside people that that really do not care for you for real. And that bothered me, because this has been going on with, individuals, but one in particular, for years. I would say maybe the last 4 or 5 years. God has already shown us things within an individual, to kind of like continue to pray for them, but again, still keep a healthy balance of distance, and every time we may get a little close or allow our guards to be let down, he would send us reminders as into why I'm telling you to do this. And I feel that he began to give me notes to take, like kind of just over the last 4 or 5 years, kind of just writing these notes about all the things that I had to experience during this period in time, right? So I began to just kind of piece stuff together, and he would bring back into remembrance of certain things that he, had told me years ago about, certain individuals. So I began to take notes, and I told him, I said, okay, when I get home, Lord, I am going to put it into a video. I'm going to just take notes. I'm going to reread Samuel, as I told you before, the title, 1 Samuel, starting from 9 all the way up to chapter 31, to kind of get refreshed on the Saul and David, as I call it, experience. So that's what I began to do. And when I came home, unfortunately, I got sick on the trip. And I came home and kind of rested up and got myself back together. And I said, okay, I'm going to, just dive deep into making this video, do some studying, do some praying, and allow God to, use me from then on there. Okay, so as I go, guys, I'm going to give you guys examples of the things that God had me list down, the things that he told me prior and he brought back into my remembrance. And I will share it with you guys. And the first one that he showed me was spiritual competition. He told me this, I would say 6 years ago, and he showed me certain things as into what he was talking about. Because at first, I didn't understand what he was saying, like I didn't even know that was a thing, guys. Like, why would somebody try to compete with what God is doing? And I remember him saying, and he also had somebody to come and confirm that. But I remember him saying, people are trying to compete with the favor that I've given you. One instance, he had a speaker come, which is, I love her to death. She's so near and dear to my heart. She came and she told me that people are not upset about the material type of things pertaining to me. Like, they're not moved by the material stuff. What they don't like is the favor that God has on your life. And that's when things started to click. But what they don't understand, you can't compete with favor. And I also connect this with controlling narratives, spiritual narratives. They feel as though if they reach something before you, or if they, do this before you, that they can control this narrative or have a up on you spiritually, which is, I'm telling you guys, y'all might be looking like, I can relate, or some might be looking like, what are you talking about? But no, people feel as though that if they quote unquote have a up on you, that they're winning spiritually, which is ridiculous to me, because it's like, here I am praying for you. I see all of this stuff going on, but I don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I held my peace for years, because all God required for me and my husband is just to pray for him. People get a high or a kick off of that, to where it's like, this is serious business, God's business. We don't play like that. We're not the same. We don't play like that. And also, guys, you definitely have to be careful, because people are going to want to be connected to you because of who you connected with, right? 2 years ago, God told me, be leery of who try to connect themselves with you, because they're not coming to you because of what their outer appearance is showing, meaning they have deeper intentions as into why they want to be connected, if that makes sense. They have a motive as into why they want to be connected. And he also said, watch out for people that overexert themselves into stuff. Like, if I didn't invite you, why are you trying so hard to kind of debo yourself in the fold, or in the circle? I was always told, if they didn't invite you, don't go. And that is perfectly fine with me. But what I'm saying is, watch people that try to overexert themselves into your circle, if you will. Be careful. Next one is, people are going to want to sit in your counsel, take all the wisdom that you give them, and then try to use it against you, right? I know y'all thinking like, what do you mean use it against you? They try to make it look as if it was all them. They try to lessen your contribution, lessen your, words of wisdom, to make it seem like it was all them. And I'm the type of person, I don't need the credit. I don't care for it. As long as somebody's, using it and growing from it. But the thing is, you're not about to try to lessen my contribution. You're not about to do that. I don't need for me to be plastered all over, everything. And I said, this, that. I don't care about that. But don't try to play me as if, I didn't contribute. Because I can say that I can, because I see certain characteristics in me that they're using. Like, oh, that was my saying. Oh, that was my, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Next thing that I noticed, guys, is that some people get titles and automatically feel that they're entitled to speak on stuff that they have no clue on what they're talking about. And I know in the Bible it said, test every spirit. And when I say every spirit, I mean every spirit. For an example, God had told me something, like I said, years ago, long time ago, and it's already set in stone. I already know what he said, and I'm just praying on it, believing him for it, and leaving it at that, right? So you got people that are around trying to monitor and try to see what God is doing in your life, right? They want almost like a sneak peek. So it's not that God is speaking to them according to your life, is that they're eavesdropping on your life, trying to get certain details so they can come to you as if it was all God. To where it's like, No, sweetheart, God told me this years ago. And what you're saying ain't matching what he's saying. So that lets me know that you ain't getting this from God. You're getting this from your own self. You're thinking that you know what's going on in my life and trying to say that it's God. And how I tested that, because again, like I said, God told me something, confirmed something. Like I said, a lot of things that I don't speak on because it ain't for everybody. So I'm allowing that to rest. And like I said, pray on it and leave it in God's hands. He already gave me a clear glimpse on what it was. But like I said, you got people in your life watching every step and getting information from people. They're watching you, they're looking and searching and putting pieces together and and trying to say that it's coming from God when it's really coming from them. And then when they approach you with the situation, you looking sideways because it's like, this ain't adding up to what God said. They going off their own opinion and their own assumption, and it ain't spirit led, it ain't spirit driven. It's all coming from them. And like I said, when certain situations play like that and unfold, I'm looking like, what are you talking about? And they end up looking foolish in the end. For an example, you sometimes have to watch who you tell things to. And I'm meaning like not just loosely telling people. Just say, for an example, mom. You tell mom, for an example, mom, me and my husband, we just bought a house down in Texas, right? And she's excited, so she want to go run and tell the next person, like, yeah, Kyra, they and Nick, they bought a house down in Texas, right? And she's excited, not knowing, like, you might be telling somebody that don't really care for them like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they're getting their information. So you gotta watch sometimes, not who you tell, but you gotta worry about who they tell. And I know unknowingly, mom probably not, understanding that, the situation and what's going on. She just excited. Dad just excited. Granny just excited. For instance, my grandma used to call down south. Every time something major happens, she telling her sisters and just excited for us. And I get it and I understand. But it's like I said, it's not sometimes who you tell. It's sometimes who they tell unknowingly. So they getting all of this information, right? And they formulating certain things. They know certain things about you that you didn't tell them. So they coming to you as if it was all God, when really they eavesdropping. They're eavesdropping into your life. Eavesdropping on social media, watching what you're doing on social media, and getting all this together and try to come and prophesy and saying it's from God when it's really from them. And really, God hasn't been speaking to them. They just been playing it by ear. So be careful who you share your good news or share certain things with, because 9 times out of 10, it don't be the person who you're telling, it's who they're telling. And that creates the problem. And this is another one that I definitely had to learn by experience, that people are going to want to leech on or latch on to your anointing and your blessings. And they want to stand next to you because of how it's going to make them look to other people. So if you hanging around blessed folks, if you trying to blend in with the blessed folks and knowing that your heart ain't pure, knowing that your heart ain't right, it's like, if I'm covered by these people and I'm standing next to these people, other people gonna look at me a certain way. It's gonna make me feel a certain way, So yeah, watch who you allowed in your circle, in your fold. Me and my husband, it's just me and my husband. We got our, obviously, certain family members and, church, community and family and stuff that we, surround ourselves around. But even in that surrounding, our circle is small. It's just me, him, and God. Can't lose with that. This is a good one right here. It's shutting down people's views of you that are watching you from afar. And that I would call monitoring spirits. People that are watching you from afar, that they're investing time in what you're doing and where you're going and, where you're vacationing, when you got a new car and when you got a new pair of shoes, just random stuff that people want to know. And I would say monitoring spirits, meaning that they are, I want to say, removed from your life or removed from that circle, to where I still want access to you, but I don't want to look as if I have access to you. I want to act all nonchalant about the situation, but I'm still watching you. I still want to see what you're doing. I still want to, almost like some stalker vibes, if you ask me. Because if you don't really care for a person or care about a person, so you say, it's like, why do you care what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? And my husband had an instant with that, to where he had a dream about it like for years, of being watched and monitored, and God spoke to him and revealed to him certain things to where that definitely was the case. And he said he noticed when we got married, these dreams started to happen. Is that a coincidence or no? Like, really? Now everybody want to be invested. Everybody want to watch. And I say this, I said, it be the people that disinvited themselves from your table. It's not that you disinvited them. They disinvited themselves by their actions, to where certain people you have to just step back from. God show you certain things to have to pray for these people from a distance, love them from a distance. And these be the main ones that want to invest time into what you're doing. And to piggyback off of what I said in the previous slide, which is about the monitoring spirits and people disinviting themselves from your lives. Sometimes also people remove themselves from your lives is because they no longer can mask what they thought that they were hiding. To where it's like, I would say maybe 2 seasons ago, people that I love and still love to this day, all of a sudden just stop coming around, stop wanting to be in our presence. It's like, if we're visiting the same place, normally we could be in the same place, we laughing, we joking, this and that, da 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 da. And the next thing you know, people are trying to avoid you. They're trying to, not make conversation with you, walking right past you. To where I came to the understanding is that in that season, all masks were off. They no longer can conceal how they really felt. And I feel that maybe they felt exposed, to where you no longer can hide the secret hate, the secret jealousy, the envy, all the stuff that they thought they were hiding in the beginning. Now it's coming to knowledge to them that people seeing you for who you really are. And you no longer can mask that. So now I can't be around you because I can't fake smile no more. I can't fake kick it with you no more, because y'all found me out. So be leery of that as well. When people stop hanging out with you or want to be around you, then you already know what's up. Next thing is, some people actually hate you or are jealous of you because of the way others love you. Isn't that something? Like, here I am, being myself, generous, loving. I love to joke. I love to laugh. I love to, watch old movies, go to the movie, just do just the little quirky things that I love to do. And people are like, love me because of how genuine I am or how real I am. I'm very big on loyalty, very loyal. And people love that. I might be, as some people say, I'm stern, but I might have to, be bold in some cases because, I love you. So if I see you off track a little bit, I'm gonna have to pull you to the side, like, what we doing? And I think people love and respect that realness. So here you got people hate the way others love you. So here they try to mimic certain aspects of your personality. And then when they don't get the same love that you get, they're furious. They're mad at you. They hate you even more. I've experienced this, guys, to where I've seen people, like I said earlier in the video, people try to mimic certain characteristics. And then when they don't get the same love, they looking at me sideways like I did something. Be yourself. Be yourself. And you may get the same in return. But I know if I'm being me 100%. And you got to be you. You can't get mad of you trying to mimic what I'm doing and it ain't working for you. So now you mad. So next, guys, is a quick dream, a brief dream that I'll tell you that I had about this certain individual. So I had a dream that I was moving into a house. The moving trucks and stuff was there, bringing my furniture into this brand new space, brand new house. So nobody in the dream, I don't think, knew where I stayed. But this individual came over there kind of, I don't want to say upset, and kind of coming into the home, came uninvited and began to rip out the lightings in my home, like trying to like sabotage the light in the electricity area. And like I said, me constantly in prayer and constantly, hearing from God. And this was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Like I said, God been putting me on stuff for a long time. So none of this stuff is brand new. It's just like it all together. It's coming together. I've been new, like this person wanted to dim my light because they're insecure in what God is doing for me as opposed to them. I don't know what God got in store for them, but I do know what he got in store for me. And people hate the way your light shine. And what I felt that it was trying to do was trying to dim my light. It didn't want me to go off and do all these great things that God has in store for me and what he's doing. So from the beginning, I feel that that was the target, to dim her light. How do I dim her light? By trying to discourage her, distract her, to cast doubt and fear, in certain conversations, and do all this weird stuff to kind of just like get my mind off of what God is doing. And I feel that the last couple of years, that's what was trying to be done. And obviously it's not working, because God is still doing great things. And he's going to continue to do great things. So what God got for you is going to be for you regardless of how somebody else feel. And what people don't understand, that jealousy and envy robs you of your peace. Like, it steals from you. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. How can you have peace and joy and you walking in envy and jealous of what God is doing for other people? You know what I'm saying? Take that up with God. Don't get mad at me. If anything, I've been praying all these years. I've been wanting to see people win all these years. Like genuinely coming into God's presence, genuinely praying for people that I know that don't care for me, that don't like me. And at first it was hard. Like it kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit. But God has already told me this from maybe 8 years ago. Like he said, he put people on my, like with God being so bold, he named certain names. And he said, his direct words, don't be mad at them. Just pray for them. And that is my go-to every time that I get distracted or discouraged about something. Because sometimes it do get hard. And like I said, it gets hard because depending on who the person is, depending on who the people is, especially if you got love for them. And it's like, where is this coming from? You know what I'm saying? When I pray for everybody. I don't be selfish in my prayers. I pray for everybody. Sometimes God stopped me from praying and say, pray for this person, pray for that person, this person, that person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get where the hate comes from. And I say this, you can't come to the table of reason when there is no reason to why they hate you. You think they're going to say at the table, I'm jealous of you, I'm mad at you that God doing this for you. They're not going to be that frank about it. So they got to find certain other things to kind of nitpick at, when jealousy and envy is the reason why it's happening anyway. The last straw for me was maybe a couple of months ago. Myself and my husband and individuals were at a gathering. And I'm not going to say what was done, but if you're spiritually familiar with this story, like myself and my husband, we were familiar with what was going on. So we knew. Other people, obviously, they don't know. But we saw, we knew, we confirmed afterwards. And after that, I was done. I told God to continue to create a healthy balance between me and they. Continue to create that balance, because I have nothing else to give but prayer. I'm not trying to understand. I'm not trying to fix anything. I can care less about it. Definitely keeping, an individual in prayer. Definitely keeping them in prayer, because that's out of my hands. I gave it over to God, but that was my last straw. I don't really want to necessarily get into, and I'm not going to tap on that, but yeah, that was it for me. And ever since I came to God and was open and honest about everything over the last 4, 5, 6 years, I felt instant relief. Because what I didn't understand back then, maybe last year, God told me that you were suppressing these feelings and not actually bringing them to me. Because if you suppress something, you kind of sweep it over to the side and try not to allow it to bother you. And that's what I was doing. Like, I wasn't actually dealing with it. I wasn't bringing it to God, although I was speaking about it, but I wasn't actually bringing it to him, leaving it there and allowing him to handle that. I suppressed him. And how I know I suppressed, because every time maybe something come up, it bugs me. It got on my nerves so bad every time this individual, just like, oh my God, Lord. But he allowed me to release those feelings. And once I did, and I left it there, and I've been just like floating on a cloud ever since. I don't think about it no more. I don't let it bother me no more. I just allow God to handle that. So if anybody's going through anything similar, or have been through it, or went through it, and it's going through it right now, I pray that you guys continue to seek God. I pray that you continue to pray, be vigilant, and listen to God when he speak. Because what I learned in this walk is that God don't say nothing for nothing. Everything has a reason. It might not be, visible now, but it's definitely, God knows what he's doing and what he's talking about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, again, please leave me a big fat like, thumbs up. And if you guys had similar situations, feel free to leave it down in the comment. What did y'all do? What did y'all think? How did y'all overcome it? Are y'all still going through it? I know that this video was for somebody. I know that I wasn't the only one going through it. And I felt that the urgency for me to get it out and put it up was not just about me. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.